Hi everyone, welcome back to Almost Normal. We have a slightly new setup today. I don't know if anyone watched my last video, but I did just like a vlog, spend the day with me, and I kind of redecorated my podcast room. So got a new shelf and put some stuff in there. I do feel a little bit like I'm sitting in a closet now, but you know, that's a vibe. There's something to that I enjoy. So anyway, here we are, sitting on my closet floor, basically. But hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Almost Normal. It feels like I have not spoken to you guys in a really long time for some reason. I am trying to be consistent with these episodes and it is really hard. It's really hard. Just like painting or just like any other art form, sometimes inspiration just doesn't hit when you need it, and I don't want to sit here and talk about something that I'm not really feeling, you know? So on the days where I sort of schedule in filming for the podcast, I sometimes am like, I don't really know or have anything I really want to talk about. So then the day goes by, I try and film something, I hate everything I say, the day ends, and I don't have a podcast episode, and then it is really hard for me to be consistent. But I am really trying, but whatever. We'll work, you know, it's self-improvement slowly. It's progress, not perfection. Like, we're gonna get there in the end. This weekend, I went to Vegas. I went to Sin City, as people call it. Vegas is literally one of my favorite places in America, like, truthfully. I have gone there probably 10 times since I lived in Los Angeles. It's kind of a quick drive, so it's kind of like an easy place to go if you just feel like you want to get away for the weekend or whatever. It's like a 6-hour drive or like a 45-minute plane journey or an hour plane journey maybe. But it's great. I love Vegas. It's one of those places that makes me feel like the world is not real, which sometimes I honestly kind of need with my mind and my thoughts and all of that. Like sometimes I just need to be thrown into a place that feels completely fake and like nothing matters. And I think that is purely how Vegas was meant to be built. To be a place where people can escape and just feel no judgment and just completely forget about everything else that's going on in their lives. And like, I honestly would say that is successful. They have succeeded in doing that. I think that they have managed to create a city where it's kind of like anything feels possible, I would say. It's like you could think of anything that you wanted to do and someone in Vegas will help you, or like there will be a place to do the thing that you wish to do. Like nothing seems too much or like out of the ordinary. No request seems inappropriate or crazy there. It's just like whatever you want, I'm sure you'll find it. But anyway, Vegas is one of my actual favorite places. I can't really spend more than 2 or 3 days there. However, like going there, I'm so excited. Being there, I'm so excited. But like after about day 3, I kind of got to go. This particular trip, I was only there for 2 days and I kind of had to leave. And that is not because I didn't have a good time. I had an excellent time. But I just like, I don't know, sometimes it does get a little bit too much. Sometimes the sort of like sensory overload becomes a little too much for me and I just like have to get out of there. Doesn't mean I didn't have a good time. It's just that it became a little too overwhelming for me at that point. What I actually want to talk about today is going to Vegas when you're sober. Because I think that, you know, as I said just before, like Vegas is one of those places called Sin City. You know, it's like a place where people go and it is associated with drinking and drugs and gambling and like a lot of the things and shopping. Like there are shops everywhere. It's like, it's literally built for you to win money in the casino and then like go and just like spend it immediately without even having to leave the building. Like that's basically how it's all built. And yeah, the alcohol, there's free alcohol all the time. Like if you're gambling in a casino, they'll just come up to you and say, what do you want to drink? And you can say whatever you want and they'll just bring it to you, no charge, which I always was insane, but it's honestly to keep you comfortable. So you just stay at the table and gamble and like in their eyes, the more you gamble, you'll be spending more money than if you just like paid for a drink. So when you're sitting at the gambling tables, like they'll just like bring you whatever you want. They come over to you and like ask if you want a massage. Like they want you to be so comfortable because they like don't want you to leave. There are no windows in the casinos because they don't want you to have any sense of the passing of time. So you can just like end up spending hours and hours and hours gambling. Like, it's definitely like a dangerous place. If you have any vices like that, gambling, drinking, drugs, sex, like any of that, like it's a dangerous place because those things seem to be encouraged. Like those things seem to be applauded. You know, they want you to do that. They want you to go to the strip clubs. They want you to hire women. They want you to gamble. They want you to spend all your money in their city. And so in order to do that, they need to advertise drugs, drinking, strippers, like all of that stuff. Like it seems encouraged, you know, and like if you're someone who is trying not to do any of those things and you go to a place that encourages all of that stuff, like it can be really, really difficult to have a good time. And like I have been to Vegas as a sober person and not as a sober person. And I can tell you that the better times I've had in Vegas were when I was a sober person. And the most horrible times I've ever had were me drinking in Vegas. Not good, did not end well, really just very dark and scary and nothing I really want to experience again. You would think like, oh, if you had really bad experiences drinking in Vegas, like why would you go back sober? I don't know. I'm drawn to places, even if I have bad experiences of them. Like sometimes I feel like I just want to give a place another chance. Like in LA, I had a couple bad experiences here, but I just like really felt like this was the place I wanted to live. So I kept coming back. I came back about 4 times in different scenarios to try and make it work here. And eventually I did. It worked out and I'm here. But like, I try to not like scare myself from one place because of bad experiences. And also, can I just say that pretty much all the bad experiences I had in Vegas and all the bad experiences I ever had in LA were because I was drinking and doing drugs. They were very, very much like my responsibility. So I really tried very hard to not blame the place on my terrible time. It was very much like my bad. Even had that with London because London I did like all my drinking in and it took me a really, really long time as a sober person to go back and enjoy myself because it was just like extremely triggering to be there. But after a while, I like forced myself and I was like, your family lives here, your best friends live here, this is where you're from. Like you have to just relearn how to live in London and just be happy. And so that is what I did. And now like I love going to London. It's one of my favorite places. I know how to be sober there. I know, you know, when it's okay to say I want to leave a situation because I'm feeling triggered. I know great places to go where there's no drinking involved and I'm going to have a great time. Like, I'm relearning London completely because the London I knew for my whole life was a London where I drank, did a lot of drugs. And now I'm having to like relearn London as a place where it has nothing to do with any of that. Like, and London is one of the most amazing places ever. Like, you don't need to drink to have a good time in London. Like, it's beautiful. Like, it's got great museums, great history, great culture, great food, like great parks, great people. Like, there's so much to London that has nothing to do with drinking. And I just had to rediscover that or discover that at all. Like, I don't think I ever really properly discovered the fact that you can just like enjoy London without alcohol. But this is kind of what I had to do with the other places too. Like with LA, I had to learn to be here in a completely different mindset, and Vegas as well. Anywho, I digress. I'm going to tell you my experience of going to Vegas drinking and my experience going to Vegas not drinking, and I guess you guys can be the judge as to what sounded more fun. I think people find it strange that I love Vegas as a sober person, and I totally get that because it doesn't really seem like those two things go hand in hand, Vegas and sobriety. But if you know what you're doing, it can be an amazing time. So anyway, the first time I went to Vegas, it was my roommate's birthday, and she wanted to go to Vegas for her 21st birthday. Classic, you know, what girls do, what we all want to do on our 21st birthdays. Go to Vegas, get our first legal drinks in Sin City, shop, be in the warmth. Like, it sounds amazing. I was drinking at this point, and she was so sweet and invited me to go with her, and it was just me and her. And we woke up at 5 a.m, got to the airport, flew to Vegas, and there we are. That was my first time ever arriving in Vegas, and I was really excited. Honestly, I have to say I was really, really excited. But as an alcoholic, an active alcoholic, the first thing that I was thinking was like, oh, I just want to get really drunk. Like, I want to get drunk. And we got there super early because our flight was at like, I think our flight might have been at 5 a.m. So we got to the airport at like 4 a.m. And so we ended up getting there super early. We didn't have a hotel room ready for us yet. So we sort of walked around with our bags, got some food and stuff. It was pretty chill. I don't remember what we did all that day, but the nighttime, obviously, I was like, we're in Vegas, like, we are drinking. It's hard for me to tell you exactly what happened because I simply don't remember 100%, but I remember getting extremely drunk, and she was not a big drinker, and I feel honestly quite bad about this whole situation. I honestly, like, can't really tell you much about what happened that night simply because, like, I do not remember, but all I can say is that I don't remember going home. Like, I don't remember how I got home. I definitely went home with her, but I don't know, we went to a club, I know that much. Went to a club, I got really drunk, and I think I probably tried to find someone who had some drugs. Like, I think I was totally out of it by then, but I have, like, vague memories of talking to, like, random men trying to get, like, drugs from them. I don't even remember what club we went to. Maybe it was One Oak, actually. I think it might have been One Oak. Anyway, whatever, like, the whole night was completely wasted. I just got so drunk, as I did a lot of the time in my drinking years. Like, when people are like, oh, I don't remember it, so it must have been fun, I'm always like, that doesn't make any sense. Because, like, how did you know you're having fun? You can't even remember anything. Like, it could have been, like, the worst night of your life. Like, but anyway, I don't really remember much of that night, to be honest. But I remember waking up the next morning with the worst hangover of my entire life. Like, I wanted to die. I wanted to die. I can't remember. We must have spent 2 nights there. And I got drunk both nights because the first day I remember waking up and I was feeling absolutely terrible. Like, I felt absolutely horrendous. Like, just wanted to shrivel up in a ball. Like, first of all, the anxiety was insane. I have anxiety OCD anyway, just naturally in my natural sort of state. And so putting alcohol and drugs in that mix, like, is horrendous. And I had the worst hangovers ever. Like, I can probably say with confidence, actually, that one of the huge reasons I had to stop drinking was because my hangovers were so bad and I would go into a depression for about 3 days after drinking. Like, I don't even know if a lot of the time I did, like, crazy shit, like, while I was drunk. Like, I definitely did sometimes, but my huge problem was how I felt for, like, 3 days, sometimes a week after. Like, it would take me such a long time to recover. I would waste days and days and days. And, like, in my deep drinking phases, I would just drink the next day to try and, like, get over whatever I was feeling, because it was just, like, unbearable, horrible. Like, I couldn't deal with it. And I remember waking up there with her and I kept being like, oh my God, I think I must have gotten drugged, you know, that classic. But I didn't. I just, like, obviously just drank way too much. And we went to the pool and I, like, had to keep going to the bathroom to be sick because I just felt so horrendous. And I was just, like, leaving her by herself. I felt so bad. Like, we went out for lunch. I, like, couldn't eat anything. I had, like, 2 bites of something. And then, like, obviously, while you're not eating throughout the whole day and, like, feeling horrible, you're just so tired. And it was just so bad. It was so hot. I felt like shit. I could not experience anything. I could not enjoy anything. I couldn't eat anything. The Vegas food world is incredible. Like, literally, the food in Vegas is so amazing. It's, like, one of the best parts of Vegas. I didn't even know that then because I was so hungover that I didn't even want to look at food. I didn't even want to think about food. Like, it was just, like, so gross to me. I think all that day I ate was, like, 1 mozzarella stick and, like, 2 oranges that I ordered up to the room because I just needed, like, I don't know, hydration or something. Like, I just felt so horrible. Horrible. And I was so selfish and I was just making the whole day about me. It was her birthday and I was making the whole thing about me because I felt sick, because of my fault, like because of what I did, because I drank too much. Like, you know, when I was drinking, I like really wasn't considering anyone else's feelings that much. I just really needed myself to be drunk when I wanted to be, and then I needed to do anything to make myself feel better after. And like, it's all about me, literally. Like, I want to be drunk, and now I got too drunk, and now I need to make myself feel better, and I will do anything in order to make myself feel better, whether that's drinking again, or spending all day in bed, or moaning, or throwing up, or like whatever it is. Like, that's what I'm gonna be doing because I feel rubbish. So that was the next day. Just was so moody and don't remember seeing anything. I don't think I wanted to do anything. I just completely wasted that whole day. Didn't eat anything, didn't do any of the actual fun, exciting things that Vegas has to offer, to be honest. Like, I was just a wreck. And then I guess we must have gone out that night again, because, again, don't really remember the night, can't really tell you what happened, like, just a blur. But I do remember the next day we were going to see the Hoover Dam with her parents, which is so sweet. Like, that is something that today, as a sober person, I would be so excited to do. Like, so excited. I love touristy stuff. I love going to see the sights. I love eating. I love road trips. I love driving to places. Like, I love all of that stuff. Like, everything that was offered to me on that trip, now I would love. Absolutely love, which is a reason why I love Vegas, because it has such great things to offer. But during that time, because I was drinking, like, I literally couldn't enjoy anything. So anyway, I remember I was asleep, and then she woke me up and it was like, hey, like, my parents are here, like, we gotta go to the Hoover Dam. And I was a cunt. Like, I know I was. I don't fully remember, it was quite a long time ago now, but like, I know I was a cunt. Like, I know that I was grumpy and an asshole, and I know that I had to literally throw up every 30 seconds in any nearby toilet. I remember going to the Hoover Dam with her parents, feeling absolutely horrendous, and then going into the bathroom at the Hoover Dam so many times to be sick. Like, literally, that was my experience of the Hoover Dam. And the Hoover Dam is one of those places that's like so beautiful and amazing, and it's like, wow, I can't believe this is so close to the Vegas Strip. Like, what the heck is going on? So beautiful and cool. And I just wasted it, completely wasted it. Like, I just like was not experiencing anything. I was just fucking hungover the whole time. And that was my experience of Vegas for the first time as a drunk person. And it was not good, you know? I didn't feel great about it after. I'm sure I didn't apologize, which I definitely should, like, now. It just, like, I experienced absolutely nothing Vegas had to offer. I literally just got wasted. And like, the thing is that when you get that drunk, like, you can literally just get that drunk anywhere, you know? Like, you don't have to be in Vegas. You didn't have to book and pay for a flight and a hotel room in order to get that drunk. Like, if you're just gonna get that drunk, like, just stay where you are. Like, it doesn't matter, it doesn't make a difference. Like, I didn't wake up the next day saying like, oh shit, yay, I'm in Vegas, like, let's go experience the day. Like, I didn't. I just wanted to stay in bed and just like rot in bed. And I just felt so ashamed and so bad and so like cranky. It just like made no sense. And so that was my first experience of Vegas, and I actually genuinely don't think I went back again until I got sober, because I just like was like, what the fuck was that? Like, I literally just wasted that whole trip because I'm a mess. Like, fuck it. Like, I don't really need to go back. I went back again, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm like missing things in my mind, which is like very possible because I don't have the best memory, thank you, Dad. But I'm pretty sure the next time I went to Vegas after that was when I was sober and I was with my husband, and I think he was just like, hey, let's just go to Vegas for the weekend. It's super close. Like, we can rent a car, drive. Like, the drive is super fun to go to Vegas. And I'm like, I think in the beginning I was like, what? Like, just the memories of my first trip to Vegas. I'm like, I don't remember experiencing anything exciting. Like, I don't think Vegas has anything to offer except for like being drunk, and I'm sober. Doesn't really seem like the best fit for me. Like, I don't think I want to go, but whatever. That conversation probably happened and we went anyway, because I was just like, you know what? Fine. Like, let's do it. Like, I was always told, and I always am told in my life, like, I can't let me being sober hold me back from anything, because the whole point of being sober is so that I don't hold myself back anymore, because the drugs and the drinking and everything, that was what was holding me back. That was the stuff that was making me not live my life to the fullest. So what is the point in being sober if I'm just going to remain in that realm? Like, you're never going to live in an alcohol-free world. Like, it's just never going to exist. You know, like, I've been to Saudi, they don't drink there, and let me tell you, people were drinking there. So like, you're never ever going to be in a place that does not have alcohol in it. It's just never going to exist. So with that in mind, we went to Vegas, and let me tell you, the first incredible thing about going to Vegas is the freaking road trip. Like, if you have to fly, I totally get that. I've flown to Vegas multiple times, and like, the airport's really fun. That's part of a different kind of experience too. But I love driving to Vegas. It's so fun. First of all, I'm a fucking sucker for a road trip in America. If you want to drive somewhere far, far away, like, I will be there with you, okay? We're going to pick up iced coffees. We're going to have snacks. We're going to get a playlist together. Like, it's going to be the best time ever. We're going to discover new gas stations along the road. We're going to see the sights. It's going to be incredible. Like, road trip, like, I'm for it, 100%, like 100%. So anyway, the drive to Vegas is especially fun because once you get out of LA and you kind of get out of the city, you're kind of just in the desert. And you would think like, oh, there's nothing really to do in the desert, like, obviously. You'd be wrong about that, okay? There's this incredible place, one of my favorite places ever, called Baker, which is, I think, about an hour outside of Vegas. So I guess, like, you know, there's other things along the way. There's little like sites. There's a lot of like sculpture parks on the way from LA to Vegas, which are interesting. Like, I don't know. I love just watching the world roll by me as it is. So I'm always entertained on my trips to Vegas. But anyway, this is one very, very special place called Baker, which I think is like an hour outside of Vegas. And it has this place called Alien Beef Jerky. And it's one of the craziest, weirdest, randomest places you've ever been to. It's literally an alien-themed shop because, you know, there's a lot of alien sightings in the desert. It's an alien-themed shop, and it has loads of alien beef jerky, very, very random. It's like the most random shit you've ever seen. It has alien t-shirts, alien teddy bears, alien-themed candy, alien-themed drinks. Like, literally everything is alien-themed, and like, it is so cool. I highly recommend you go there if you're driving. I'm pretty sure actually if you Google like sites from LA to Vegas, like there's hundreds, like there's a lot of other stuff to do, but like that is just one of my particular favorite ones to do. And also in the town of Baker, there's other things. There's this restaurant called My Big Greek, something like that, which is a Greek restaurant, which is really good. I've been there before, and it's just so weird because it's like this tiny town. I think it's just like one little street of these shops, and all the shops are so random, and you're also just like, where does everyone live? Because I don't see anything around me. It's just like a very interesting experience. It has the world's largest thermometer in it as well, which is cool to see. It's just like, what the hell is this? Like, why is this here? It's just like cool. It's just like such a cool experience. There's also on the way lots of outlets, which is always fun if you're trying to like look for a deal. And is this other place called Peggy Sue's Diner, which I've never been to, but that's also on the road. And I don't know, there's just like super weird things that you can go and see. So the drive alone is like fun, something I really enjoy. Then you get to Vegas. I always stay at the Wynn. Like, top tip, like, the Wynn is the best hotel in Vegas. It's so nice. However, we don't really spend a lot of time in the room. Like, we kind of just, because we're always there for such a short period of time, like, we always go and venture out to the other hotels. So fun and so weird. They're all themed very, very differently. There's the Venetian, which is literally Venice themed, and it has rivers going through the hotel, and you can go on gondolas and like take a ride through the mall on water with a gondola. It's so crazy. Caesar's Palace, which is awesome. It's like all like Greek themed. That's pretty amazing too. We spent a lot of time there this trip because we went to 2 different restaurants each night. Both were in Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Palace is also amazing. Then you can sort of go to like the very, very nitty gritty ones. Like, there's this one called Circus, which is scary, but they do really, really cheap gambling. Like, if you're not a gambling addict, which I'm not, like, I find it kind of fun, but like, it's nothing I've ever felt like the urge to do, you know. I've never sort of like had it get in the way of my life before. So for me, as a sober person, like, I do allow myself to do a bit of gambling just because it's not my vice. It's not the thing that I have a problem with or have ever had a problem with. If I feel a problem developing, I will stay away from that. But for me personally, I do sometimes do a little bit of gambling just because it's just like we're in Vegas. It's just fun. If you go to places like Circus, they have like the cheapest gambling tables. You can like bet like $1 or whatever and you're able to play. Other casinos, you have to spend like way more money. It's like $50 minimum, which is crazy. And as someone who is not like a proper gambler, I'm not professional. I don't gamble as an addiction. I just like do it for a little bit of fun as a sober person in Vegas. So I'm not like trying to spend a lot of money. So going to the other hotels and like gambling there is kind of more fun. I don't even know if I would call it gambling, the stuff that I do. I literally just do it for fun. Like I just find it's like a fun game. I'm not really in it for the money. I just want to experience that a little bit. But there's like so many hotels. All of them are different themed. I'm trying to think of like if there's any other. The Venetian, Caesar's Palace, the Wynn. The Wynn's lovely. The Wynn is like Chinese themed, I think. It's gorgeous. Like if you don't stay there, you should just like walk through it. It's so nice. There are so many. I am like, my head is just going completely blank. It's also confusing because there's a lot of like roadways into each hotel. So they like connect. So Vegas is really strange. Like it's very much of like an inside city. They don't really need you to leave. But actually, if you like want to go from one hotel to another, sometimes there's little like alleyways where you don't have to like leave the building, but it will connect. Yeah, which sometimes makes it a bit confusing because sometimes I think like one hotel is another hotel just because I didn't leave the building and somehow I'm in a different hotel than I started in, but then I just think I'm in the same. I don't know. It's a little confusing, but whatever. Okay, a massive thing about Vegas is the food scene. Like the food is incredible. This particular trip, I went to, where'd I go? I went to sushi something. I went to an amazing sushi restaurant. What the fuck was that called? What was it called? Damn, what was it called? Okay. It was called Sushi Roku. If you're in Vegas, go to Sushi Roku. So fucking good. And then the next day, we went to Joe's Stone Crab, which I've been to in Miami, which was amazing. But it's so fun in Vegas too. But like the food scene is like, I would literally just go to Vegas and just do food. Like it's so good. Like you could just do a food tour of Vegas, no drinking involved. And you would have an amazing time. At the Wynn, and I think we did this twice. Did we do this twice? We did this once. I can't remember. Okay. Once for breakfast, we did the buffet at the Wynn, which is the most incredible buffet you have ever seen. It has everything you could imagine. It has Japanese breakfast. It has Chinese breakfast. It has classic American breakfast. It has British breakfast. It has everything. It has every single dessert you could ever think of, every kind of ice cream, every kind of donut, every kind of coffee. It has special little drinks. Like it has this like pineapple little, you know, sober, like pina colada, non-alcoholic drinks. It had these cute little like ube milk drinks. It had every kind of seafood you can imagine. What else did it have? Oh, it had this station just for sticky buns. It has literally everything you can imagine. I had the best fucking time at that buffet this weekend. That is just like a joy for me. I'm like a big food person. Like I don't really enjoy the word foodie, but like food excites me so much. It's one of like the biggest pleasures of my life. And so like going into a room and being able to basically just pick anything you want to eat is incredible. It was just amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, it's really amazing. That's a huge thing that I do. That does not involve drinking. Like obviously it can if you want it to, but like it doesn't have to. My typical trip to Vegas is get there, arrive midday or in the evening, go to a show, and then go for dinner. That is my typical Vegas experience. Then the next day, wake up, have an incredible breakfast, walk around. There's so many weird sites you can go to. Sometimes I drive to downtown Vegas, which is like a whole different part of Vegas that like I'm sure a lot of people have never seen, but it's really cool. Go get lunch somewhere at one of the like 1,000 restaurants that you can pick from. Walk around more. The weather's always great. You know, I went in February, early February. I went for Valentine's weekend and it was warm, like didn't need a coat or anything. Great weather. You can go to the Hoover Dam again. Like there are sites around the Sunset Strip, the Vegas Strip, that you don't even need to stay in the Vegas Strip if you don't want to. This trip we did dinner on the night we got there, sushi Roku. Then the next day we did the buffet. Then we just like walked around, drove around. I needed to buy makeup. There's like a great mall called like the Fashion Center or something that you can go to. And then we went back to the hotel room, and then we went to go see Chris Angel, which was definitely a very interesting experience. I don't know if I would 100% recommend that show, but every time I go to Vegas, I go see a different show, and there's always different ones or like different musicians playing. There is just so much to do. Like, Vegas is such a vibrant place, but whatever, like, as you can probably tell, but maybe not, I don't know, maybe you guys think that me going to Vegas drunk sounded more fun to you, but like, going to Vegas as a sober person is so much better. I can't even tell you. Like, going to Vegas as a sober person, you can actually experience things, and it's great. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little smug, you know, when I'm like walking to breakfast or like fresh, you know, fresh and like non-hungover, and I'm like looking at all these people just like asleep at the table, and I'm like, I used to be that, but honestly, like, I'm having a great time. Like, this is amazing. I'm gonna eat everything I want. I'm not gonna want to throw up in the toilet. I'm just gonna enjoy myself, you know, the way Vegas is meant to be enjoyed, I think personally. So yeah, Vegas and me as a sober person were besties. Like, we have a great time. Obviously, like, there's a lot of temptation there. There is a lot of temptation there. Drinking is offered all the time. And so if you're not in a very like stable moment in your sobriety, like, I definitely would not go to Vegas. I would never go alone. That's a big thing. Like, I would only ever go with people who understood my sobriety and respected it and did not like want me to go off on the deep end, because like, at the end of the day, I'm an alcoholic, you know? Like, if someone's like really, really pushing me to do something and I'm not fully feeling strong and like structured in my sobriety, and I'm not feeling that good in my life, and someone's like offering me stuff, like, that's a dangerous situation for sure. I need someone with me who's going to keep me accountable, who knows that I'm sober, who knows that if I say, hey, I want a drink, like, they're going to be like, let's just think about that for a second, you know? I would never go with someone who would want me to drink, who wouldn't be there to support me, and I would never go alone. And I would also never go if I felt wobbly with my sobriety. Another thing, like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, it is called Sin City for a reason. Again, they push things on you. You can have an amazing time if you're like mentally at the right place, but like, I definitely wouldn't suggest going like if you're feeling a little bit like on edge about being sober. Probably not the best place to be. Like, I have done that once or twice, didn't really end well. I just like stayed in the hotel room the whole time. Like, Vegas is a tricky place. It's a tricky place to navigate, and you really do have to feel like strong in your sobriety when you're there to enjoy yourself, I think, you know? But if you're able to do that, it is a great time. You know, it's such a great time. You could definitely go when you're sober. If you're thinking about doing a bachelorette trip and you're sober, like, Vegas, I wouldn't say no to. Like, that sounds fun, as long as you go with friends who respect your sobriety or who are also sober themselves. Like, there's wonderful things to do. You can do spa days. You know, they have incredible spas in Vegas. You can just spend the whole day in the spa. Like, for my bachelorette, went to New Orleans only because I'd been to Vegas so many times and I just like was looking for a new experience, and I'd never been to New Orleans. And that was one of the most fun places I've ever been. I am so excited to go again. But, you know, that is my experience of Vegas as a sober person. I just eat, I go to shows, go to bed. You know, the hotel rooms are always so nice, and there's pretty much always a great view from any hotel room you put your head in. That sounds so weird. Any hotel room you sit in Vegas is most likely going to have like a really nice view. I don't know, it's just such a weird place. I just love it. I feel like a weird person, and I feel very like at ease there, honestly. But again, like, go with caution if you're trying not to drink. Like, definitely make sure you go with the right people. Definitely make sure someone knows that you're sober and like is gonna be there to support you if you like feel wobbly. Someone who's gonna be happy to like go home from the night out with you, so you don't walk home alone, and they're not gonna be like, oh, you ruined my night because like you just like felt uncomfortable and now like you wanted to go home. Like, don't go with anyone like that, because that sucks so bad. If you feel like you're in a place where you're feeling anxious about drinking and you want to leave and you don't have anyone to leave with, like, that's a really shitty position to be in. Like, don't ever put yourself in that position because it just feels horrible and you feel like a nuisance and like a drag and it's just bad. Like you need someone who's like fully supporting you to go with you. And yeah, just like eat, watch shows. Like Vegas can be enjoyed sober or not sober. For me personally, I can only enjoy it sober. Like I've tried it drinking. It just doesn't work for me. It's not good. I don't have a good time. I end up just wanting to be in bed or like with my head in the toilet the whole time. So anyway, that was what I did this weekend. It was so fun. But yeah, sobriety in Vegas can mix 100%. There's so much that city has to offer. Anyway, that's all I really had for today. You be the judge. Vegas sound better sober or not sober? Dunno. I mean, I know. Personally for me, but like, what do you think? But anyway, I love you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do. It's super helpful to me and you can see every time I post something new, so please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Yeah, but I love you guys so much and I'll see you next time. All right, I love you. Bye.